Hello everybody, my name is Emma and today I am reviewing the one, the only Batman Arkham Knight on the PS4. As usual, these reviews are spoiler free, so you are more than welcome to stick around if you haven't played the game yet. Please let me know in the comments below what you think of it, and please listen to my review to the end to know like my exact thoughts on it. Just a quick background on my Batman knowledge. I am quite a big fan of the Rocksteady Batman games. I played Asylum, City. I probably sunk maybe like 60 hours into City. It's definitely my favorite of those two of the franchise so far, and I was really anticipating this. So I'm going to jump straight into this and say straight off the bat, no pun intended, that Batman Arkham Knight is quite a good game, but it has a lot of disappointing elements, which in my opinion makes it probably the weakest of the Arkham franchise, and I'm going to tell you why. So I'm going to split this up into what I think is the crux of what makes this game good and bad is parts where you feel like Batman, and parts where this game makes you feel not like Batman even though you're playing a Batman game. So obviously the parts where you feel like Batman in this game are the excellent parts. If you were to segment them out and stick them into their own game, I would rate this close to perfect, because the parts where you do feel like Batman are so kick-ass. I was sitting like on my couch just completely just smiling at my screen because they were so good. So for example, in this, the combat scenarios when you're just beating the shit out of people are some of the best parts. I've really liked the Arkham combat system since the first game, and they up the ante again to make you just feel even more like a badass. Like, the environmental takedowns are awesome. There is parts in the game where you can control two characters in the same like beat up scenario, and just like how, you know, you knock someone up and then you control the other character to knock someone down. It's really damn awesome, and that's parts where I'm just like, this is damn Batman. Like, this is what I want to be doing in Batman. I want to be beating up thugs like a badass. Similarly in the Predator situations as well in the gameplay, when you are like up top on perches and you've given a set amount of people in a room where you need to take down at the same time, they've already upped that as well. They have cooler takedowns now where you can do multiple people at the same time, which again, I was like, yes, this is what I want from this game. And there's always experimentation in it, which I like, where, especially in this game, the enemies like know your attack pattern a bit more. Like, if you're hanging up in the rooftops all the time, you know, you'll hear a voiceover saying, hey, he's up, he's taking you out, like that. And they did add in some worthy additions to that to make those combat situations even cooler. And again, you feel like Batman, you feel so superior to like these goons where you've taken out like 8 of them with guns and you've just stealthily knocked them all out. And again, that is Batman to me. There's also this section in the middle where you go through a theater and you are controlling 2 people. I don't want to go more into depth than that, but I think that was like the strongest element of this game in this section of room, because it did really feel like something that you experienced in Arkham City, where, you know, there was one situation which we were working towards, and it was like quite a cool concept. As well, there was some others like super cool stuff, again, flying around the actual city. You have upgrades to your zoom this time, was sweet. And I played on PS4, so I didn't have any technical issues with the game. Frame rate went smoothly and it looks as pretty as ever before. I liked how they approached the art in this, where it's very gritty, but they have all these like light up neon signs. It's a really good contrast when you're just flying around the city as Batman. And now to the parts where I thought dragged this game down a little bit from where it should have sat, in my opinion. So this is parts where you don't feel like Batman. Number one, and everyone's gonna know what I'm gonna talk about here, is the Batmobile. Now, like, I didn't have a problem with the controls of the Batmobile. I think when you were in it and controlling it, like, that was fine. I didn't have any issues in that sense. I just had issues altogether with the Batmobile being included in the game for that much of like a priority of it, if that makes sense. So every like 5 seconds, like, I know that they needed to add it in to switch up the gameplay this time around, but the amount of times where they were like, you gotta jump in the Batmobile to do this, Batman, you gotta get in the Batmobile, oh, I need to do this puzzle, oh, I better jump in the Batmobile, I'm going down like a massive drain thingy, what am I gonna do? Oh yeah, I need to get the Batmobile. The Batmobile is everywhere, and it's not really the driving part which annoys me, it's how many times they brought out tank battles. Now, Batman, in my honest opinion, like, he does have a Batmobile. Even in the most recent movie series, you know, he has guns on his Batmobile to shoot down stuff sometimes, but it's very obviously non-lethal because Batman obviously doesn't want to kill people. But the amount of times you're driving around in the Batmobile and there's all these tank battles of these tanks shooting you, and you're shooting down missiles and blowing up shit, it's just like, Batman would not have just such a reliance on tanks, and I think tanks as a whole just don't really fit in the universe. It would have been cool if it was like in there 3 times, but every 5 seconds you feel like you were going on another shoot some tanks mission. Like, it is not World of Tanks Batman edition. I was signed up to play Batman. Whenever I had the choice, I was flying around the city, because who like wants to drive when you can fly? Like, I can drive a car, but I'm like, not Batman. So, I just, that part really annoyed me in the game. Again, as I mentioned before though, that is my opinion. I'm sure if you were a big fan of games like World of Tanks, or you like car racing and shooting with tanks types of games, you know, you could really enjoy this. I just didn't think that, you know, in a third-person action adventure there was going to be so much reliance on shooting other tanks and avoiding their missiles and stuff like that. On to some other things where you didn't feel like Batman. I feel like this time around, he really, like, story-wise and personality-wise, it was always like, oh, I need something done, I'm gonna call up Alfred, I'm gonna call up Lucius, and I know that he does that all the time, but he didn't really feel like a detective. For all the times where you did feel like a detective, where, like, you were analyzing someone moved through here with security cameras or whatnot. Like, again, Batman is the world's greatest detective, so doing those things is cool, but the amount of times where he was not being a detective was quite notable. As well, I think the story, though I think it was quite good, it didn't hit the high or low points like Batman Arkham Asylum and Arkham City did. And I mean, not saying spoilers for the rest of the games, we do know what happened in City, but I don't think the villain this time around, how it sort of acted, was as impactful as it could have been. Was it a strong ending? Well, you did have to finish all the side quests to actually get to the ending, which I thought was a little weird to begin with, but I did like that actual scene at the end. It sort of did wrap things up for the trilogy. I just think overall the story wasn't as cool as, like, I was expecting this to be. Overall, I think Batman Arkham Knight is one of the better games that have come out this year, and if you are looking for something to play and you have, you know, played the series before, I do recommend this one. I just don't think it lived up to how much I loved Arkham Asylum and City. Like, City was probably my top 5 games of the PS3 era, and I was so excited for this one, and it just didn't knock it out of the park, which I sort of thought it was going to. Overall, if I was going to give this game a score, I would rate it 3.5 out of 5. Thank you for watching, everybody. Again, let me know in the comments below what you thought of Batman Arkham Knight and what you thought of this review. If you're new here, please check out some other videos, and if you like them, make sure you subscribe. And if you want to hang out some more, follow me on Twitter and we can have a chat about games. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys again soon. Bye!